pets, because I've been thinking about it, after work, it can be a dangerous time. I mean, the cement getting really hot.
And the asphalt takes a while to cool down too. So the air might cool down, but the pavement can still be very hot into the evening time.
Last heat wave we had, I came across a young man right down here in downtown Louisville. He had his dog carrying him like this across the intersections,
down in the grass
down on 5th Street. He didn't want to
risk it
paws.
with those little paws.
Yeah, I thought that was very nice.
Yep,
very
plenty of water for everybody.
All right, thank you, Ben. Well, we've got some more information for you. According to the Center for Disease Control, older adults' bodies are not quite as flexible to adjusting to sudden increases in temperature like this heat wave, and they're also more likely to take certain medications that impact the body's ability to control its temperatures. Then for children, Norton Healthcare says they're at greater risk of overheating due to key differences in the physical makeup of their bodies as opposed to a full-grown adult.
Their skin is making up a larger portion of their body, and so they can exchange that temperature faster than adults do. They also don't have as many sweat glands, and their thermoregulation is more immature, so they're not going to do as good a job controlling their core temperature as an adult would.
As for those of you with very small children, it's important to be mindful of their symptoms because many may not be able to communicate exactly how they're feeling, and in many cases, they may just act more fussy and irritable. Another top story today, it turned into a scary few moments at the U.S. Capitol. Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell froze and stopped talking for more than 20 seconds.
McConnell was in front of the cameras to speak at a news conference, surrounded by other key figures on Capitol Hill.
This week has been good bipartisan cooperation and a string of
McConnell had just stepped up to the podium to deliver remarks about National Defense Authorization Act before trailing off, as you just watched. He paused for about 20 seconds, staring blankly before eventually being escorted away. An aide from McConnell's office said he felt lightheaded and stepped away from a moment. They say he did come back to handle the Q&A, where he told reporters then he was feeling fine.
And back here at home, it didn't take long. Today, the nearly 60-year-old TP is no longer standing in Cherokee Park. This is from earlier this week. It has been taken down by heavy equipment after standing since 1965. The city is issuing an emergency demolition, concerned it could collapse on its own. That didn't take long, pushed it right over. There it goes. Our crew at the scene says it took about a total of just under 30 minutes to get it to the ground, but as you saw there, it fell over in seconds. Engineers determining the structure was on the verge of collapse. Several people came out to watch the historic structure coming on down. Deputy Mayor Nicole George says Metro government had already spent $80,000 to improve the pavilion, but several assessments showed that the structure was unstable. Now, we talked to the folks at Cherokee Park this morning before the demolition. They were heartbroken to see it go.
Yeah, so it's sad, right? It's a piece of our history. It's a piece of Louisville. If you've grown up here, you've seen it since I've been alive. I've seen this. But at the same time, they've been repairing it for a long time, and I know the parks have constantly put money in to the structure, and I know it keeps continuously having problems. So I hope that they put something new up.
Now for the next step, the city plans to get your input on a new structure. Coming up tonight at 6, we'll take you through today's demolition as people relive their family memories under the pavilion.
Norton Healthcare is now facing a federal class action lawsuit in connection to the cyber attack from earlier this year. The lawsuit was filed by a former employee and current patient, but it will include anyone impacted by the data breach, which could be tens of thousands of individuals. The lawsuit alleges Norton maintained private information in a reckless manner and failed to take the steps necessary to secure it. Plaintiffs allege their personal information, including names, addresses, birthdays, social security numbers, and financial information, has been stolen by hackers, putting them at a risk of identity fraud and theft. They are now seeking compensatory damages and 10 years of credit monitoring for all of those victims. We reached out to Norton Healthcare for comment on the lawsuit. They said, "We intend to vigorously defend ourselves in any litigation associated with the cyber event we experienced earlier this year. However, it is our practice not to comment on any pending litigation."
And we are learning many new details tonight on the story we told you last night right here at 5 o'clock. The man who was shot and injured by St. Matthews police in a standoff in an Anchorage home allegedly tried to stab 2 St. Matthews SWAT members. New documents are revealing this information. Arrest records show that around 3:30 in the morning yesterday, a woman described as the ex-wife and roommate of Bernard Higgins went to Anchorage police with serious wounds from domestic violence. Officers say her eye was swollen shut. They found Higgins had outstanding felony warrants from Boone County, Kentucky. When Anchorage police arrived about 4:45 in the morning there on Bellwood Road, Higgins barricaded himself inside the house. Now, yesterday, this is what St. Matthews Chief Barry Wilkerson said happened next.
We also tried negotiating and de-escalating the situation. During negotiations, this individual approached officers in a threatening manner with a deadly weapon. Our officer discharged his firearm, striking the subject.
New citation today. Higgins said to officers multiple times through the door if they came in, the officers would, quote, go to heaven along with him. And he was not afraid to meet his maker. The record says that Higgins was holding a knife, and that's when officers shot him. The police report says police did tase him first and were wearing their body cameras. He is now charged with assault and terroristic threatening. By the way, this mugshot of Higgins is from April in northern Kentucky when he was arrested on car theft charges. Right now, Bowling Green police are asking for help finding Malik Jones, who they believe is responsible for the murder of 21-year-old Ayanna Morgan. Morgan, a Western Kentucky University student, was shot at a Bowling Green apartment complex Sunday night. She was flown to a Nashville hospital where she died Monday morning. Police believe Jones is armed and dangerous. Anyone who knows anything about him is asked to call 911.
Sunk in at that moment that, yes, I'm moving forward.
Well, in a new interview tonight, the newly named full-time police chief is sitting down one-on-one with WHAS 11 News to talk about the path forward, what she will do differently to curb our city's violent crime problem and rebuild trust within the community. In a time when many in our community want to see more police out there, where are the staffing levels?
These are all questions our Isaiah Kim Martinez actually asked the new chief today. And Isaiah, are there any new initiatives now that we should know about?
Well, Shay, Doug, one key goal here, talking with the newly named chief, she promised the community they will see more officers on the street walking, out on horseback and ATVs. But Gwen Villarreal also told me these will be officers you at home will be more familiar with face to face. Now, her department to lead full-time. A week removed from the announcement, LMPD Chief Jackie Gwen Villarreal telling me when the big moment sunk in.
To have the officers to reach out and text, congratulations, Chief, glad you're staying, glad you wanted to stay. That right there meant so much to me.
Gwen Villarreal, also an ordained pastor for nearly 20 years, says the skills translate over. Forgiveness, but also accountability.
That's correct.
Louisville finds itself in a difficult period of heightened violent crime, evidenced in this surveillance footage from June, captured and given to us by Vendome Copper and Brass Works, a local business in Butchertown, showing young people firing guns at will down the street. We showed the video to the newly named chief in person.
We're trying our best to identify those individuals. The division commander put together a plan in order to address that particular area.
There's a renewed call from many in the community for more officers patrolling the streets, given the persistent crime plaguing just about every district. Gwen Villarreal promising new initiatives. What does community policing specifically look like differently?
Being more intentional about how we engage the community. So what does that look like? We may have a Meet Your Beat Officer Day, where the community can actually come in and meet the beat officer that's serving your community on a regular basis. Now we got a face, we got a name, we're having a conversation, and so now when I see you in the grocery store, I'm able to wave more freely. When I'm driving down the street, I'm able to stop my car and say, how are you doing? Because now I've had some interaction with you. We have to do that.
And a quick note here, as far as staffing, LMPD has a class of 31 cadets currently going through Police Academy. That's a bigger number than we have often seen in recent years going back to March. It was just at 23, even less at some points the year prior. So they're set to graduate in December. Shay.
All right, Isaiah, thank you very much. Coming up at 6, will Louisville's chief heed the warning from other police agencies across the country in her negotiations with the Department of Justice? What she says she'll do to ensure the best outcome for Louisville. You can see that in the next hour. With the start of school just a couple of weeks away, how Jefferson County Public Schools will implement Senate Bill 150 is still undecided. SB 150 impacts schools by banning discussions on gender expression, sexual orientation, or gender identity. It also allows teachers to ignore a student's preferred pronouns and restricts bathroom access. Tuesday night, board members discussed 2 versions of a policy during a meeting that ended with no vote. JCPS board members could not come to an agreement on deciding how Senate Bill 150 needs to be implemented. However, the school district must make a decision by August 15th. Inside Van Hoos last night, students, parents, and teachers, also allies, took to the podium, voicing how the board's decisions will impact students.
What if there is a trans kid at my school and we now have to use the wrong pronouns for? What if they have to go into a bathroom that makes them feel uncomfortable and unsafe?
JCPS board members could not come to an agreement. They decided to table this and hold until they wait and hear from the federal government.